debt is Utah Republican Senator and author of the book, The Freedom Agenda, Mike Lee, who joins us by phone from Alpine, Utah. Senator Lee, it's a pleasure. Welcome back to Freedom Watch.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you very much, Judge.
Some people blame the S&P downgrade on the Tea Party, including your colleague John Kerry and the president's campaign manager David Axelrod. Did you cause downgrade, Senator Lee?
No, I certainly didn't. You know, I'm a little bit perplexed and slightly bemused by the fact that people are actually saying this. This is the most preposterous argument I've ever heard of. It's a little bit like blaming the fact that the British were coming on Paul Revere. Look, the Tea Party simply reflects what American voters are saying to the tune of tens of millions at a time. They're saying the federal government's too big and too expensive. Those people who are uncomfortable with that message are uncomfortable with representative government as a whole.
So why is the left demonizing the messenger? Even John McCain, not a notorious leftist, demonized the Tea Party by comparing them to characters in the Harry Potter novels.
Well, you know, Judge, I wonder whether some people who are demonizing it are simply afraid of what it represents. One of the things that we stand for as Tea Party members is that we need to restrict Congress's borrowing power. We need to permanently, by means of a constitutional amendment, restrict Congress's capacity to borrow. Now, that will make members of Congress less powerful. A lot of members of Congress don't like that.
Right.
They want to be as powerful as possible. When we cut back on their ability to borrow, that makes them less capable of doing anything and everything they want.
Senator Lee, you voted against the leadership of your party and against the deal that eventually resulted in authorizing the president, after jumping through some hoops, to borrow another $2.4 trillion, making him the biggest borrower in history. It'll be $6.7 trillion in this first term, or this present term, I should say, alone. Most Republicans voted in favor of this. Question: are Republicans totally unwilling to confront the issue of debt, government debt, in a meaningful way?
Well, some Republicans are willing to address it, and I would point to those who were behind the idea that I kept pushing, and the idea that I push in my book, The Freedom Agenda, which is we have no business raising the debt limit until, at a minimum, we've adopted a balanced budget amendment to the Constitution. Those who are behind this are serious, but, you know, unfortunately, there are a number of Republicans who haven't been. But this is what we're seeing develop. We're seeing an odd set of allies that are going to be coming together in the next few months, I predict. This is an issue that at the end of the day will prove to be neither Republican nor Democratic, neither liberal nor conservative. It's simply American. It's what we have to do to preserve our government and to preserve our economy.
We only have a few seconds left with you, Senator. Will we ever get out of this borrow and spend craze, or will the leadership of both parties want to please the people who want us to do this, no matter what the long-term consequences are?
We will get out of it if and only if we put in place something permanent and binding. We're not going to have that as long as we proceed with these statutory spending caps that promise to cut a lot of money years and years down the road when a future Congress is in power. Good. We have to amend the Constitution. That's the only way we get out of it. I believe we will get out of it, but it's not until we adopt a constitutional amendment that we will.
Senator Mike Lee, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Today, President Obama responded to the turmoil in the stock markets by